When you're fighting the Hydra, if the Hydra does like a critical attack on you, it will bite you and start to swallow you. And your character is actually just a struggling bulge in the throat of this thing as it swallows you down.
That's it, go ahead and run. Run home and cry to Mama. Except you can't see you because she's already dead. You're above losses.
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Even when it is cooler outside, I still have a fan going in the window right now, and a fan out in the hallway with the door open to keep the air circulating. I don't need the air to be cool. I need the air to be moving. Even if it's cold, if the air is unmoving and stagnant, it's just, ugh, a terrible, terrible feeling. So with my housemates not here this morning, I got the window, the fan in the window, the door open, there's air coming through here. It is pleasant. It's going to be not super hot today, but it's going to be warm. So around noonish, I'm going to have to close up again to keep the cooler air inside. Thumbs up for that. And of course, front loading of videos. Hey, if you like what you see in here, if you could hit the like button, that'd be awesome. If you like what you see in here and you haven't subscribed, if you could, that'd be super awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are literally beautiful and literally awesome and help to keep me and my pets alive. And my little hamster Ghost, he deserves to stay alive just as much as everybody else. Thank you so much, each and every one of these people. If you would like to become one of my patrons and help me survive, there are links in the video description to the Patreon. That'd be cool. And if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there are links to a PayPal if you'd like to send a donation. And if you would like to help me out without sending money at all, there's an Amazon wish list link. If you could check that out, that would be awesome. And of course, I have a post office box, so if you'd like to send me anything from postcards to keychains to whatever you would like, I will open it up on video. So thumbs up for that. Yay, front loading of videos over. I have had a day. I am still an idiot. I monitored my blood pressure all day yesterday. I took more Ritalin yesterday evening before I went on my nightly walkies, along with my other medications, and a blood pressure medication tablet. And then again this morning, another Ritalin and another blood pressure medication tablet. Now, I take the blood pressure medication tablets periodically just for my blood pressure because ever since I started taking Ritalin before, my blood pressure has been hard to bring back down. It's gotten there now, but I'm trying to be very careful. But my desire to be able to think and concentrate and remember and focus is so great, so strong. I am playing games with my health and life just so that my brain will work closer to normal. I really, really wish I had never started Ritalin, that I had started with something else, because I would not look at Ritalin as the golden city on the hill that I can't go into or I will die if it didn't work. It makes my brain function closer to normal up here. Everything else, I come like maybe here. And it hurts not being able to think. It is torture not being able to concentrate. It is just horrific that I was shown what it's like for my brain to work next to normal and then have it yanked away. It is soul crushing. So I am taking my medications prescribed to me. You know, I'm not doing anything illegal. I am doing things that are foolish, but I am still monitoring my blood pressure. And if it starts to even inch up a little bit, game's over. So, yeah. And anyway, I wasn't planning on doing it past this weekend. You know, so... But enough of me being an idiot. I do want to talk about some other things. Last night, after I got back from walkies and such, I, at about 11:15 at night, got everything together and started making up my D100 dungeon character for the new stuff, starting over from scratch. I almost started doing the mapping, but it was midnight. I did a lot of cleaning and tidying and just a lot of activity that I shouldn't have been doing that late at night because it's close to going to bed. But I at least came to my senses enough to close that all down. Got to bed a little after midnight. Finally, when I was all done and the light was off, it was midnight, and I woke up early from pain. And at one point, I woke up at 1:30. Only an hour after I had gone to bed. I felt like I had fallen asleep for hours, and when I looked at the clock, I was like, oh my God, what happened? So, yay. So I'm tired, and if I fall asleep today, I understand why. But still, such is life. I have been thinking about various things and trying to be as creative as possible, as well as just thinking about life. I have been more creative, and I do want to talk about this, but I've mentioned this before a couple years back, and I want to talk about it again because I brought up my interest in soft vor the other day. And soft vor, of course, is just where human beings or intelligent monsters or animals or aliens are swallowed whole by creatures and usually digested alive. Yeah, that for my wiring in my brain makes that exciting to me. There is blood flow to various portions of my body. I'm not going to go much past that because TMI, you don't need to think about me naked and excited. Sorry for putting that image in your mind already. But the reason I was bringing this up is because a couple years back, I was playing the game Dragon's Dogma, which is a very, very good game. But I'm not sure I'm ever going to be playing it again, because my character had a very satisfying character arc for both her and for myself as the player. Because if you've ever heard of the game Dragon's Dogma, your character is just a person who has a run-in with a dragon, actually has their heart ripped out of their body, but through the power of this being and creature, you still live. And so you're doing things to get more powerful to find out what's going on in the world and to confront this being. At one point, one of the choke points, boss type battle, is you're sleeping in a small camp. You wake up and a 3-headed hydra bursts into the camp and you have to fight this thing. Now you have 2 AI companions. There's no way to turn that off. You will have 2 AI companions. They're known as pawns in this world, where you can bring them in. And it's game lore, in-world lore, that this happens. There are these pawn rocks. Anybody who has this ability to access these things can call up a pawn. And so you have 2 AI companions that fight for you. When you're fighting the Hydra, if the Hydra does like a critical attack on you, it will bite you and start to swallow you. And your character is actually just a struggling bulge in the throat of this thing as it swallows you down. And if you reach the body of the Hydra, that's it. It stops, game over, and then you've got to reload another save. Well, the AI pawns, if your character gets swallowed, they will fight and get you rescued, and then you can continue to fight the Hydra. This particular playthrough, the Hydra came in, swallowed my character, and was in a position with that head where the AI pawns could not get to it. So they were running around, and I as a player could do nothing. I couldn't do anything. I had to let my AI characters rescue me. My AI characters could not rescue me because of where the head of the thing was. This is not supposed to happen. And so I had to sit there for a few minutes and watch as my character was swallowed down the throat of this thing, and then bloom into the body, and then reload the character. But since this is a role-playing game and the AI pawns are running around and yelling, "We'll save you, Awakened One! Don't worry, Awakened One!" I had figured that this was a satisfying conclusion to this character's arc, where all the pawns are yelling, "Don't worry, Awakened One, we'll save you," and she's like, no, you sound distraught. Just, why don't you go lie down for an hour and then come back and check on me? Awakened One, you'll reach its stomach by that time. We have to rescue you. No, really, it's late in the afternoon. Just take a rest, yelling this through the throat of the creature that's swallowing her. And they're like, Awakened One, once you pop into that creature's stomach, it will digest you. There'll be no way for us to save you. And after a few seconds of silence as she moves further down the body, it's like, look, go home, take a nap, come back, and then silence as she pops through the throat into the stomach of the beast, and then the Hydra, in my mind, then slithers away, curls up on a nice rock in the sun to digest its meal. And yeah, that is a satisfying character arc for both the character who was swallowed whole and digested alive, and for me as a player, where how can I top that? How? My character was swallowed whole and digested alive. There is no way that any outcome could be better than that. That was perfect and beautiful and wonderful. She's happy, I'm happy. As far as I'm concerned, the game Dragon's Dogma came to a perfect and happy ending. So thumbs up for that. And of course, for the creative stuff, I have really been thinking a lot about the character of Lynn Tanner, where I had to double check on a name on the internet because I keep thinking Lynn Carter. And Lynn Carter was an author way back in the early 1900s. Now, when I say early 1900s, he was writing in like the 50s through almost the 80s. So the stuff he wrote, and then he stopped writing and did a lot of editing, did poetry, did this, that, and the other. But he did stuff that I never read. And for some weird reason now, when I tried to think of the name Lynn Tanner for my cryptid dark character, I come up with Lynn Carter, and God, I want to slap myself for that, because the character's name isn't Lynn Carter, it's Lynn Tanner. But I've been thinking about how the cryptids in the world have been changing, and there is a cryptid called Polly, who's the light cryptid, who is a change in the new generation because the cryptids reflect through a funhouse mirror us, our hopes and dreams, our fears, and our nightmares, our best, our worst. They are a shattered and warped reflection of us. All of their potential is just flown back into their faces, and it's sad, really. But with these cryptids, they are changing to reflect our fears. And a lot of the newer generation of urban cryptids, like Polly, who's a flower-type plant cryptid, she's hungry for human meat. She eats about 4 people a month. She's of the type that does not have to. She chooses to. But you have to work within your nature, and the fact that she is eating human beings at about 48 people a year, that's a big change, and she's still living and acting within her nature. But there have been other changes since I have talked about the character of Lynn Tanner. At one point, I figure he's talking to somebody else, probably Jerry Brighthammer, who's a human with a maximum human cryptid vision, where Tanner is talking about how they do not know how long dark cryptids, especially of his type, would live. He's almost 40, and in dark cryptid terms, that's almost ancient. And he personally, over the 40 years he has been alive, has eaten probably in the nature of, in the ballpark of around 50 lower power cryptids during that time. And the reason he brings that up is because also during those 40 years of his life, he has lost family, friends, acquaintances, just people and cryptids he knew more than those that he has eaten. He has lost to other cryptids' stomachs. Cryptids are their own worst enemy. And the reason he's bringing all this up is, since Cornetto died a week and some ago, Cornetto was a type of cryptid that should not have been able to feel friendship as anybody else really experiences it. But Tanner was Cornetto's friend. And as much as Tanner is a wandering agent of chaos / serial killer, Cornetto was his friend. And during the 40 years of life, Tanner has never felt more than the indifference of other cryptids who live basically no better than animals in our world, 99% of them, and are happy because they're unable to think. But Tanner, who has been friends with Cornetto, is feeling just, he can't stop thinking about Cornetto, and when he does, his chest hurts. And that's a change, because he's almost 40. So urban cryptids have been changing for some time. They just haven't all been changing as Polly is changing and her generation. But every generation of urban cryptid has been changing, since after all, you go back 3 generations, even urban cryptids, they didn't bother to wear clothing, they didn't have to. And only now are cryptids starting to regularly wear clothing as costuming because they don't need it. So yeah, Tanner and his dark cryptids are changing in a very positive way. And yet the light cryptids, for them, are also changing in a positive way, but us from the victim pool, oh boy, no. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments on my community tab. Gonna go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I can't American Sign Language, well, I mean, I'm doing better today. I'm on Ritalin. But we have the Horror Files. Thumbs up and thank you very, very much. We have Jesse Koskinen. Good to see you in the comments. And Doom is a great game. Oh my gosh, even after all these years. Mohawk Guy 64. Thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. And I hope you continue to watch and enjoy. We have, I think it's Sacha Boy. Thumbs up, and I believe it's entirely genetics for my ADHD, because I have the trifecta of depression with ADHD, and it's not really a term that's used anymore, but high functioning autistic, and then I got social withdrawal and all these things, and they're all genetic, I think, but you never know. I mean, that's been debated for hundreds of years. We have Hassan Taya, thumbs up and thank you, and I do try my very, very best to be consistent. Insignificant Nick, well, what can I say? Cornetto and Tanner are 2 hard motherfuckers. And then, of course, we have Ben B, greatly appreciated, and that is it. 7 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. No matter how many of you there are, you get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text, and if only for a short time, but that is appreciated to no end. Thumbs up and thank you. And of course, thank you so very much if you have watched this far. I know I ramble and prattle for far too long, and no one forces you to watch. So if you do watch this far, thank you so very, very much. It is appreciated. And of course, with diseases and such pandemics and viruses, please just be smart for your location and situation. Don't get sick, don't make others sick, don't suffer the long-term effects of being sick. Don't throw your body onto the end-of-life corpse pile, or anybody else's body onto the end-of-life corpse pile, because you got sick. And of course, it being a Sunday as I'm recording this, I'm just going to take the day easy. I got my D100 dungeon stuff ready to go. So, thumbs up on that. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.